I picked it out, y'all. I picked it out. Alright, y'all. Today's Get Ready With Me is...
It's a little off topic from what I talked about a week ago. However, it ties right in.
So I'm just going to jump right into this. And today's Get Ready With Me is about having male or female friendships outside of your marriage.
Meaning your husband has female friends that he's cool with, he kicks it with, he calls, they talk on the phone, blah, 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 vice versa.
Child, boo. Okay?
Let me just go on and tell y'all what sparked me to want to talk about this today. I told you guys I'm in a lot of groups on Facebook, and one of the groups I'm in is about marriage, and it's about being a wife, okay?
And the conversation started like this.
Good morning, ladies. How are y'all doing? Question for you all. Do y'all mind your husband having female friends? Do you mind him having female numbers in his phone and they have his number? Do you have male friends?
Alright, well, one person thus far throughout the conversation said they must be old school just due to the fact that they don't do that in their relationship. You know, it's like once they said I do, they just agreed that the friends that they would have would be mutual friends. Okay, well, I agree with that, and I'm going to tell y'all why. This was my response to add my 5 cents to the conversation. I said,
well, everyone's marriage is different and tailor-made to them. However, my hubby and I, we dropped those friends once we said I do. I can say it probably was easier for us because he joined the military and we moved away. However, started having friends that were couples or married. We gave our young marriage a fresh, clean slate 21 years ago. We've also experienced some trifling-ass people we have met since being married who have tried to get with both of us, okay? Neither one of us are jealous type of people. However, do what works best for you. Just my opinion and experience. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer to this question.
And I don't, okay? And the reason I don't is just because everybody's marriage is different. We just have experienced it differently. The night before we got married, I remember it like it was yesterday. We were sitting out in front of my mama's house in the car, and you know, this was like our last moment to be single or considered single. James was getting ready to go to his bachelor party. Stephanie was getting ready to go to bed and get Jasmine situated and stuff before the wedding tomorrow. And the one conversation that we had before we parted ways was this. We both agreed that moving forward, our past is now our past, because what we create together is now our future, and we're gonna live in the moment and we're gonna move forward. We're not looking back, and we had lots of reasons not to look back, okay? We laid it out there like that, and it was something that we both agreed upon, and we both said this, and I can honestly say I was the first one to say this. I told my husband, if the day ever came to where I was not enough woman for him, okay, that because we share a child together right now and we're going to always be a part of each other's life because of her, I would prefer, and I would have so much respect for him if he could just tell me straight up, Steph, you're not doing it for me no more, you're not that chick anymore, you know, I want to venture off, and I'm ready to be with other people. I don't see you like that anymore. And I told him, I'll be hurt. Don't get me wrong now. I'll be hurt. In my head, I've always only planned on getting married one time, and that's it. He agreed, so I told y'all, our first duty assignment was actually in Schofield Barracks, Hawaii. Our first duty assignment also came with no one from the past, because like I said, it was easier for us to just move and leave the past right there in South Florida and just keep it moving. However, even the people that we met while we were married in the military went left, okay? So it took us like 7 months for us to get to our first duty assignment.
Hawaii actually takes a little longer to get there because you have to be sponsored and all that shebang, stuff that y'all don't understand.
We went to Hawaii, and my father-in-law had some friends that lived over there, and you know, he asked them to look out for us when we first got there because, you know, we didn't know anybody. Well, her name was Gail. We spent our first Christmas with Gail and little Charlie. Okay, well, let me just tell y'all this. At Gail's house, honey, Gail had some friends that were also in the military and that were also married, okay? Well, Gail introduced us to her friends. Only person I can remember their name is the culprit.
I don't even remember the wife's name because I personally don't remember the wife doing a whole lot of talking, okay?
So this was the first time Stephanie had learned to play spades, and Willie was my partner. And Mr. Long didn't want to play, so Mr. Long sat off from a distance and Mr. Long watched. Alright, well, Jane's over there watching and observing. Gail and Willie's wife, because they was best friends, yeah, they was partners, and then me and Willie was partners. So Willie teaching me how to play spades for the first time, blah, blah, blah. Alright, let me just fast forward. Mr. Long, when they had left that night, we was laying down, and he was like, that dude like you, Steph. And I was like,
what do you mean?
he was like, he likes you. He said, I could see it. I could see it. And he was like, I'm a man, and I know when another man is interested in my wife. I was like,
okay, dude, if that's what you say.
so I ain't gonna tell y'all, Mr. Long was right. Okay? He was right, and he actually really did know what he was talking about. Well, fast forward. We had only met Willie and them that first weekend. And they didn't even stay over, like, with us or anything like that. Month later, 1 month after we had been there, James had to go to Japan on his first, like training exercise. Well, he goes to Japan. Gail, she knew that James was gonna be gone.
Which means Willie and his wife knew that James was gonna be gone.
So, honey, Willie had called me because I had saw them. They were doing a going away party for Miss Gail. Alright, so I went to the going away party. Went to this party. I guess Willie got to see me by myself, and you know, I guess he was feeling what he was seeing, and Willie decided to make a very bold move. Now, I want y'all to remember,
Willie is married. Willie is married with 4 kids, okay? He's a family of 6.
Willie had found out that James was on a training exercise. Willie took advantage of the situation now. Willie had called me the next day, and Willie had asked,
like he don't know James ain't there.
He had asked if he could speak to James, and I was like, dude, like, you know he's not here, so like, why are you calling and asking for him? He was like, oh, my bad. I was cleaning out my home office, like things that, you know, stuff that he can use to study, you know, for when he gets ready to make E5. And I was like, oh, okay.
Now, my husband progressed up the rank ladder pretty doggone fast, I must say.
So I guess, you know, he saw that, okay, well, let me help this little young soldier out and, you know, start helping him get prepared for the board. Well, he asked me, could he bring these books over?
Hell to the motherfucking no. You cannot bring the books over. You already know my husband not here, and you gonna ask some dumb shit like that? That's that shit I be talking about right there.
So I told him no, and I said,
well, you know, James can just come get them from you when he gets back.
He was like, oh, okay. He was like, well, just let him know I got him.
Alright, I'll do that.
Well, fast forward.
When I say fast forward, I ain't talking much fast forward, okay? I'm talking like 20 minutes later. 20 minutes later, he called me back.
And he was like, Stephanie, I was like,
yes.
Okay, he's like, I just want to tell you something. And I was like,
all right.
He was like, I just want to tell you that I think you are a very attractive woman. And he was like, I am like very, very attracted to you.
Okay. Like, what do you want me to do with that? What do you really want me to do with that information? Like, am I supposed to jump around, run around the house, and be like, he thinks I'm attractive?
No. So,
okay, thank you. I'm like, you know, you married, right? Do you remember that?
And he was like, you know, that's besides the point. He was like, it's a difference in being married and being happily married. And he was like, I'm not that. And he was like, you know, I was just wondering, like, if, you know, we can, like, spend some time together, you know, while your husband is away and stuff, and, like, you know, possibly get to know each other better.
Child, I had to say, who the hell do you take me for? I'm 20 years old, and you really think you're gonna pull one over on me? No. I'm young, but I wasn't born yesterday, okay? No. So, I had to check him quick. I said, Willie, I said, I'm flattered. Thank you for the compliment. However, I am a happily married woman. So, I don't know what's going on at your address. I'm like, but at my house, I was like, you know, we're not into that, and we're not gonna play those kind of games.
So because I cut him off, I guess his little ego was struck and he was hurt, and you know, now he's trying to clean it up. He's like, well, could you please keep this just between me and you? And he was like, you know, and not tell your husband or tell Gail or anybody else.
Like, I ain't making no promises like that to you.
So he gets off the phone, and then 20 minutes later again, he called me back, and he was like, when I say y'all, he was persistent. He was kind of crazy, like persistent, okay? He was like, are you sure? And I'm like,
nigga, I'm damn sure. I'm very sure, okay? I'm so sure that I checked myself, okay? Like, really? You sound really like you want to get your ass whooped. Like, you was just ready. You ready to be like, just throw the dirt on my grave. You don't know how my husband is? And at the time, y'all, I didn't know how James was either when it came to this matter, okay? Like, I told y'all, it was like we was fresh. Our marriage, like, we were making the rules as we go with our marriage. And I had just never seen James, like, get body with anybody, like, other than my mama. So I'm just like, child.
because I'm getting all these phone calls from Willie, so it's like every time the phone ring, now I'm paranoid because I don't know who the hell this is calling. And okay, what do you want? Okay, y'all, James called. One of them phone calls was James, and soon as I answered the phone and I was like,
Hello?
he was like, what's wrong? And I'm like,
Why you think something wrong?
I hear it in your voice. What's wrong?
Y'all, Willie ain't have a chance, because I'm sorry. Like I said, we wasn't starting our marriage off with secrets. And yep, I told him exactly what happened. My father-in-law at the time didn't think I should have told James what had happened, like, while he was away and stuff, because he was like, you know, stuff that could distract him.
Child, I'm telling y'all, James and I don't listen to nobody else. Like I said, we're in this marriage. Me and him and the good Lord up above.
Nobody else. Alright, y'all, I'm sorry. Mr. Long had called, and when Mr. Long calls, Stephanie answers, okay? And he asked me what I was doing, and I told him I was talking to y'all. So, yeah, I was able to get a little bit further along on in my makeup. So, back to what I said.
My father-in-law didn't think I should have told James, you know, what was going on at the time, because he thought that it would be like a distraction. And like I said, we're not them type of people that we keep secrets. No, we don't do that. And that's definitely not a way to start your marriage off, period. I told James.
He was pissed off.
Y'all, if he could have came through the phone and got with Willie, he would have got with Willie. And I'm going to tell y'all, Willie didn't have a chance. Willie, I think, was like a E7 at the time, and James was an E3. And if y'all know anything about the military structure, it's just like he's a private, high-ranking person, okay? And y'all, James didn't care. James was gonna get with Willie, okay? And my father-in-law just kept telling him, if you're gonna get with Willie the right way. You need to go to tell Willie's command about what he did, because the Army frowns upon adultery. Point blank. They frowned upon it. You can get in a lot of trouble for having, you know, infidelity and adultery and all them little sinful acts. You can get in trouble for that, and they definitely do hold the soldier accountable for that. Now, James came home, and honey, James wanted to go to get with Willie, okay? But he couldn't do that, because by this time, he done calmed down, and, you know, I done talked to him, his dad done talked to him, and Gail tried to handle it. Oh gosh, y'all, I hate when them lashes be wanting to lift. I'll come back to that and fix it. Gail had got with Willie because my father-in-law had told her what Willie tried to do. Well, Gail handled it.
Y'all, I had to pray and ask my husband to please leave us alone, because we was fresh in the marriage. He was fresh in his career, and he can't be doing no shit to be getting in trouble over dumb shit. And I said, you know what, one day, you're going to have your moment where you'll be able to address this with him.
Fast forward 3 years. 3 years done went by. We never ran into Willie ever, okay, until this one day. We were at the NEX in Hawaii, and we was in there shopping or something, and child, I heard his voice. I heard his voice, and when I tell you, it was like a ghost had just like came from the past, and all of a sudden I hear him, and I hear his voice, and I'm like following, and I'm like walking towards the voice because I'm like, is that really him? And like, James is in the store with me now. Keep in mind,